great good morning, everyone. It is a beautiful Thursday, November 13, year of our Lord 2025. My Cordaro Jeweler's watch tells me it is 9:09 and change. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he. Broadcasting today from the United States of America. I can prove it because the government's actually operating. It's also the place for the brave. Like the veterans we salute today, thanks to John Basiliga and one of his great companies, Basiliga Hospitality. Veterans we lost this year but celebrate today thanks to John. Robert Gratkowski, Scranton. Benny Tranguch, Hazel Township. And Frank Pipiak of Berwick, the United States of America. Founded with a certain knowledge and understanding by our incredible, irreplaceable, amazing founding fathers, that government is not, shall not be, cannot be our parent, our guide, our salvation, our direction. Not any of these things, but is nothing more than a necessary evil we require to organize and protect society. The United States of America, the country where for the first time in human history, freedom was declared to be an unalienable right granted to each individual by God. Freedom couldn't be parceled out to groups. It couldn't be controlled by government or government officials because our great American Constitution ensures and codifies freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of association, economic freedom, and freedom of the press, no matter what they do with it, even if they lie for the Democrats and the left. Now, armed with these freedoms, and only because we had them, a ragtag bunch of immigrants, rejects, and their progeny created the richest, most powerful, most culturally diverse and accepting nation ever to grace our planet Earth. America, the only place specifically invented and designed so that every American can live their life in the manner they choose, unlimited by their background, upbringing, race, color, or creed. Unhindered by the government or those who would use government to control others for their own comfort, benefit, or power. This Bob Cordaro Show, well, it'll always be convincingly conservative, lovingly logical, proudly and passionately patriotic, and reliably right. And so, with that essential preamble dealt with, we can gavel to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense. We use an actual gavel and soundboard, by the way, provided by the Slabjacker, because our commitment to common sense will provide a sanctuary of sanity for all of you for the balance of the morning. When the leadership of the Democrat Party has gone completely insane and every word out of their mouth is a lie, well, not every word out of their mouth. Every word is either a lie or a distraction. It's sad. And I just don't get it. I'm not getting it. By the way, I heard the morning show talking about it, and I might have mentioned it yesterday, that the pennies is no longer going to be manufactured by the U.S. Mint. I had a huge penny collection. And I had it in these 5-gallon, those plastic buckets, whether they hold plaster or paint or whatever. And I had 3 or 4 of them. And I don't know what the hell happened to them when I went to prison. And I don't know. They're probably in the house that I gave back to the bank. Maybe they're still there. Because I had them in closets. I mean, it's not like I was trying to display them. I just had a habit of, from a little kid, never spending a penny. And then when I started, probably college age, I started saving change. Never spent change. And it really worked for me. I'd save, you'd go away for vacation, and I'd have $600 or $700 extra bucks in change. I never dealt with the pennies. They're just lost to God knows what. And so every time, think of this. It was sort of a faux. I did that the same thing with cash. If I already had a 1 in my pocket, I put the all the other ones aside. If I already had a 5, same. And you save a lot of money that way, and that was the only way I could do it, frankly. Otherwise, I'd spend it. But, the penny, okay. Makes sense. Ginny C saying, have a great day. Have a great day, too, Ginny C. Thanks for being with me. Well, so we got through the shutdown. It was damaging to the economy. It was inconvenient for a lot of people. And the Democrats, to this moment, I still do not understand the strategy other than let us create chaos. And because we control so much of the media, we'll blame it on Trump and the Republicans and we'll get away with it. There literally is in the Democrat Party today, and you take that leadership, they're disgusting human beings. You take Hakeem Jeffries, you take AOC, you take Bernie Sanders, you take Chuck Schumer. Oh, my God. If they took their sport coats off, you'd probably see scales. But because there literally is, and I don't care what you say about Trump. He's driven by his ego. But he's placed his massive ego in a position where he wants people and history to love him. And that has been to our huge benefit. And when you see the Democrats opposing things they've always supported and doing things that they never agreed with over and over and over again, it doesn't matter if it's the border, it doesn't matter if it's the shutdown, it doesn't matter if it's tariffs. It just doesn't matter. Somebody said, Bob, I just asked ChatGPT how much a 5-gallon bucket of pennies is worth, and it said between $50 and $70, depending on how tightly packed. Thank you for that. So I probably had 150 to 200 bucks of pennies somewhere. Somebody says, Bob, you were a saint. I'm not in this universe. Sorry. Navy guy says, Bob, your lawyers probably took those pennies as part of their fee after you went to the big house. Well, I don't know, Navy guy. Somebody took it. And if they know where it is. You know what I lost too? I had, from my first house I bought, Sherwood Avenue, Dunmore, I had the man who had lived there had a Pennsylvania license plate collection. And I lost that too. Those are the two things and then there was a raincoat I was fond of. And a Ferrari jacket. Yeah, that too. So there are things I think of I lost when I went to prison. Those are the things that just keep coming to mind. But that license plate collection I loved. Going back to the 40s. So, any event. John in Wilkes-Barre wants me to let him know about SNAP. Well, it's supposed to get back on track now. The government is funded and will be funded as of last night when Donald Trump signed the continuing resolution. Now, how long it takes them to get back to normal? Because remember, one of the reasons, and you're never going to hear this in the media, one of the reasons the Trumpsters did, and Trump administration did not want to release this so-called surplus, the $4.5 billion or so dollars, was because it was going to complicate the reopening when it happened. Now they got to figure out, well, who is owed what, who got what percentage, all of this. But SNAP should resume, and I would think, God help you, within a month it'll be back to what was normal. So that's the best I can say. John, I don't think anybody can actually say. Somebody said, I wonder if they start making pennies, we can now melt the older pennies for the copper. I think it's called smelting. I don't think there was enough copper in it to make it worthwhile, just on the penny subject. What does the government shutdown prove? Number one, it shows that the Democrat leadership is disgusting, craven, and does not care about you, as if we didn't already know that. They care about political position, political power, and a lunatic left-wing agenda. That's what they care about. That's it. I can't find anything decent in regard to any of them. Trump's ego works for us. Their hatred of Trump works against us because Trump's president. But the other thing it proves, the government shutdown proves, is there's too much government involved in our lives. There's too much, period. And we better do something about it, and it better go way beyond Doge. All right, we'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We're in the midst of it. We're in the thick of it. But let's hear from our great sponsors, a little history, a little music, and then you. The Marvelettes. Murph says this date, 1961, they had the #1 R&B hit with Please Mr. Postman. And, of course, the November 13th, 1942 is when FDR signed the measure lowering the draft age from 21 to 18 and, part of that war. Man, you think of the sacrifices that generation made. And it may not have been the greatest generation, but it was pretty damn great. Oh, the sacrifices they made. And they just did it. They just did it. They didn't bitch about it. They didn't moan about it. They didn't whine about it. They just did it. Hey, Bulldog, by the way, somebody is requesting, and because they gave me an LTS, we've got to think about it, Pennies from Heaven by Louis Prima. Are you writing this down, Bulldog, or he's got to answer the phones? Are you hearing me, though, Bulldog? No, he's talking on the phone. He's got to answer the phones when you guys call. I understand. Well, I'll try to get back to that before I lose the text. Somebody said, Bob, I know everything about the insurance industry. My father was in the business over 40 years and was an underwriter many years ago. He passed away over 4 years ago. We used to talk all the time how the Democrat Party despised the entire insurance industry until Obamacare. President Trump is 100% right. The insurance industry is making a fortune off the Obamacare subsidies, and now the insurance companies are in bed with the Democrat Party. Yep. By the way, a separate coincidence, we have a state budget. And a compromise was reached, but important common sense / Republican values were incorporated. There's an increase in spending, but it's not as dramatic as the governor of wolf in sheep's clothing wanted, the fake moderate. And so I guess we could be happy with that. You've got a Democrat House, you've got a Republican Senate, thank God, and you've got a Democrat governor for going on 7 years now. That's the scary part. But somebody texts in, now that we have a state budget, does it include real property tax relief as promised by Fast Eddie Rendell and the rest of the slimy politicians? No, it doesn't. No. They're looking for more money. The Democrats are looking for more money. Shapiro's looking for more money. He wanted to save or spend by design, by the way, not by mistake, which is illegal in my view, all of the rainy day funds and whatever was set aside for an economic turndown. He wanted to spend all of it. The Republicans in the Senate of Pennsylvania prevented that, thank God. No, you're not getting any relief. Government keeps growing and growing, and they're wasting money by the billions in Pennsylvania. By the billions. You think of the education establishment. That alone in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. It's remarkable. You think of the bureaucracies. Everything that was discovered by Doge in Washington, D.C. is in a 1/30th scale here in Pennsylvania. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Same people, same personalities, same entire package. And then reduce that to your local governments, there's more waste. Amazing. Joe from Berwick. Hi, Joe. How are you?
Oh, good, Bob. Hey, sorry I couldn't hold on yesterday, but you mentioned about Trump derangement syndrome. And I thought of you right away when I saw this in the paper yesterday. There was an article about a big blue tear-shaped diamond that was sold at an auction house. I think it was Sotheby's, and it sold for $25 million. And 7 years ago, I suppose, at the same auction house, the same diamond was sold for $32 million. And you'll never guess what the spokesperson for the auction house blamed as the reason this diamond sold for $7 million less this time around.
Because people were less stupid?
Donald Trump. Donald Trump's tariffs.
Oh, my God.
I mean, you can't make this up how absurd these people are.
If it was, and here's the insanity of it. If it was more expensive to import diamonds, which we import virtually all of them, if it was more expensive to do that because of tariffs, this would be worth more. So the guy's a fool, obviously.
Yeah. Well, you realize at some point you just, like you said, you can't even take it personally because these people are beyond reason. But I did want to tell you one thing. I'm going to send you a picture. Remember how I was telling you the Catholic Church in Berwick was sponsoring those flags for Veterans Day?
Yes.
I got a picture of that, and I'm going to send it to you as a Gmail attachment. It's a beautiful picture. It's in a field in North Berwick, a place a lot of people don't go up that road for many reasons, but they proudly displayed this, and it's one flag for every soldier that was sponsored. It's a really beautiful display. I'm going to send it to you here sometime today.
I appreciate that very much, Joe. Thank you, my friend. Always.
Thank you. Take care.
All right, we'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We've got to hear from our great sponsors, and then we'll come back. We've got a Veterans Tribute. We've got the weather. We got a little ditty that the Bulldog's going to play that I prepared yesterday or found yesterday. And then we'll take your calls, 570-883-0098. If you call or text, one or the other, we're good with either. Our Veterans Tribute this hour and every hour, this day and every day. Brought to you by our friend John Basiliga. And today we feature, as we head into the weekend, one of his great companies, Basiliga Hospitality. What's Basiliga Hospitality? Well, Number one, it means quality, value, and first class. Bar restaurants, the Old Brook Inn, 307 Springbrook Township. I can't wait to get back up there to have the bone marrow. I can't wait. Far Street Tavern, the reimagined neighborhood bar. Benny's old place. Trips Park section of West Scranton. And the Queen City Tavern. Amazing little bar right in downtown Oliphant. Robert Gretkowski. We lost him October 18th. He was a United States Marine Corps veteran. He went on to own and operate his own carpet business for many years. He took immense pride in his craftsmanship and dedication, continuing to install carpet up until the very end. He was a man of few words, but his actions spoke volumes. He found joy in life's simple pleasures, a perfect cooked steak shared with family and friends, trips to his favorite restaurants, and trips to Florida. Preceded in death by his wife, Patricia Strasburger, parents, siblings. He's survived by his loving family, his daughter, 2 sons, grandchildren, a brother, and many other family members. They will hold a celebration of his life December 6th, noon, at the Great Waldorf. Robert Gretkowski, our veteran this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality. Storm Tracker 16 forecast from meteorologist Joe Snedeker. Today, cloudy with a chance of flurries and sprinkles, 47 degrees. Tonight, partly cloudy, down to 34. Friday, partly sunny, 47. Saturday, partly sunny with a chance of late day showers, 50. Sunday, more clouds than sun with rain and snow showers by evening, 48. Well, the only good thing about it being cold overnight is that Chauncey doesn't want to go out at night. So we take about a mile walk before whatever time, 8:30, sometimes even earlier. And he doesn't want to go out, and he doesn't want to go out again. That's the good thing. Louis Prima, thank you to a great listener for suggesting we play that song. By the way, I don't like to adulterate Murph's list because he works very hard at it, but that was worth it. He replaced the Rolling Stones on a song on Little Red Rooster, which I'm sure I heard, but I don't know it by name. Anyway, thank you for the suggestion. Happy to accommodate. And then the great Victor Davis Hanson on Veterans Day. Big deal. Man, but that's right. This is Veterans Day week for us on this program. Angela from Mattisville says, LTS, God bless you, Bob. This is Angela from Mattisville. I want to thank you for all you do on your show. A shout out to all the veterans and troops. And now there are so many families that are going to get SNAP. Glad it's open again, the government. By the way, there's so many fraudsters and illegals receiving SNAP to the tune of tens of billions of dollars a year. But that does not detract from people who need it. We should just for example, Department of Agriculture, which is what distributes food stamps, that's what SNAP is. They said, hey, to all the states, we want to audit who's getting this. Is everybody eligible? Well, virtually all the Republican governors responded, and we've got a fairly clear picture in those states. But people like Shapiro, who is no different and no better than Phil Murphy in Jersey and Newsom in California and Hochul in New York. Think of this rogues gallery. Holy God. Calling the Democrat Party and Democrat leadership the bar in Star Wars is an insult to the bar in Star Wars. Wow. Anyway, but back to the Louis Prima thing. My father loved Louis Prima, so now we listened and came to love him. And then when I was living there on home confinement with my parents, we would watch Louis Prima tapes on occasion or whatever, YouTube videos. And I just, I'm beyond loving him now. So thank you for bringing that up again. Yeah, so the fraud that is going on in the SNAP program, it's hurting the people who deserve it. And the American taxpayers, obviously. And the rule of law and all of those important values. But the Democrats want illegals to have it. They want fraud. That's what they want. I don't know why. Doesn't make any sense. Wow. I don't know. It's frustrating to watch how flighty people are. And I keep getting brought back to the Bible and the Israelis during the Exodus. And I mean, God would deliver them, he'd feed them, he took them, and they would be furious. And they'd be, building false idols. And you say to yourself, could anyone be this stupid? Yeah, well, we see it here. Quite amazing. All right, we'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. Let's hear from our sponsors. We love them. And I'll tell you, they're great. They've got some annoying commercials. Leaf filter, I agree. But they've still got good products that are worth buying and services that are worth using. So let's do that, and we'll come back. Murph tells us James Brown entered both the Billboard and R&B charts with his hit "I Got You" this date, 1965. And 1956, the Supreme Court struck down laws allowing racial segregation on public buses. Rosa Parks, we love you. Absolutely love you. What an act of courage. And now, true, amazing, courageous civil rights leaders are replaced with race hustlers. Both white and black, by the way. Disgraceful. Bob, somebody texted in, LTS, when illegals get to vote, they're not going to vote against Santa Claus. That's the reason. Says Jimmy from Harvey's Lake. I know. Bob, the Democrats and the people who support them think that the ends justify the means. They will break the laws. They will willfully sin and even think murder is okay as long as they think their actions will hurt Trump in any way. Oh, my God, says Chaz from Greenfield. Somebody else, speaking of Shapiro, I remember Shapiro went on the morning show that here on WILK saying that Trump was screwing Pennsylvania farmers because of a COVID-era policy that was lapsing. The Democrats set an expiration date on, just like these Obamacare subsidies. The listener continues, but yet he cut $7.88 million from Pennsylvania farmers from his budget. But he still had $3.3 million for his TikTok team. How does that man sleep at night? I don't know. Hey, when we think of Shapiro, we know it's bad. But then when we think otherwise, we think of something good, like an event going on at St. John's Church in Mayfield, their Christmas bazaar this weekend. Joan Zaleski's with us. Joan, how are you?
Bob, thank you for having us on. I'm usually on with the car show, but this time it's a Christmas bazaar. Thanks for having us on this morning.
Yeah, tell me all about it.
Okay, we're with St. John's Russian Orthodox Cathedral in Mayfield. The address of the event is 701 Hill Street in Mayfield. And this is our 33rd Christmas bazaar. We had a few years where we didn't have it with COVID, and everybody has been asking us for the last several years, we want this event to return. This event is very, very very popular in the Upper Valley as well as other areas. We have people that come from New York, New Jersey. Okay, we have homemade food. Friday and Saturday, our hours are 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. All homemade food made by the parishioners of St. John's Cathedral in Mayfield. All homemade baked good desserts. Also made by all the people from St. John's at Mayfield. We have a huge group that we're just very lucky to have such dedicated volunteers. And we also have over 20 vendors joining us with distinctive and all different types of products. They have also raffle baskets. We will have over 40. Oh, it's amazing, Bob, the raffle baskets. We got to see them all displayed last night, and it's just so hard to describe the countless hours people have put into this, and it's like a magic wonderland when you walk in.
Bulldog, are you going to this event?
Am I going to it?
No,
I'm one of the co-chairmen.
No, I'm talking to
I'm
talking to the Bulldog here. I'm betting he's going. This is right up his alley.
Oh, there you go.
His mouth is watering. I see him drooling across in the other room.
Oh, well, you have to come up and try this. We have, Friday we're going to have pierogi, cabbage and noodles, macaroni and cheese. Okay, Saturday they have the delicious, well-known St. John's cabbage rolls, many other foods. So we hope people in the area can come up and see it. All I can say is we couldn't do this without our village behind
Yeah,
us.
this is great. These kind of events, they make America great. I mean, they really do. So, all right.
Yes,
So give
yes.
us now. So it starts at 11 Friday, ends at
Okay,
6, and then it's
Friday.
Saturday as
Yes,
well.
yes. Friday and Saturday, 11 to 6. Bob, we're at 701 Hill Street in Mayfield. Okay, they have any questions, they can call us at 570-906-4520. Um, we really appreciate you having us on the air. As you said, it's very hard to sometimes find these because, well, it's just too bad that many organizations, churches, etc., all organizations just don't have the volunteers that they did before, with getting elderly and health problems and things like that. We used to do like a two-story, two floors event. We have to just do it on one floor now because of those, those things that I just mentioned.
Yeah, yeah.
But we still have a big village with us, and it's amazing what these people have done in a week. I mean, we start preparing before, but I mean, this week putting the final touches on everything. It's amazing what we have been able to accomplish.
St. John's Russian Orthodox Church, Mayfield, 11 to 6 Friday, 11 to 6 Saturday, a Christmas bazaar. Joan Zaleski, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Bob, we appreciate you as always. I want to say,
Don't hesitate
okay,
to call tomorrow again. We'll sneak on for a minute or two just to remind people. All right?
Okay, Bob, I'll be happy to do that. Is there any special time?
Well, pick a different hour because it's usually slightly different
Okay.
audience. Okay?
Okay,
Great.
Bob will do that, and we truly appreciate you, Bob Cordaro and WILK.
Thank you. St. John's Russian Orthodox Church, Mayfield, Friday and Saturday, 11 to 6, Christmas Bazaar. That's what makes America great. Well, what makes this show great is Bacardo Jewelers and their watch brands. Raymond Weil, Breitling, Oris, Longines, Michelle, Shinola, Luminox, Swiss Army, Seiko, Tory Burch, Victorinox, Bulova, G-Shock, and more. And my very own Bacardo Jewelers watch. It says it's 10:01. That means it's time for the news. We'll be back after that. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Great good morning, everyone. My Cordaro Jewelers watch tells me it's 10:09 and change here in the great Northeast. This beautiful Thursday, November 13, 2025. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, and it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and with the help of our man, John Basiliga, and we're featuring one of his great companies, Basiliga Hospitality, as we head to the weekend to honor the brave who made us and kept us free. People like veterans we lost this year, but celebrate today thanks to John. Like Robert Gratkowski, Scranton, Benito Benny Tranguch, Hazel Township, and Frank Pipiak, Berwick. So with history, our great founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle, gaveling back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense. We promise you, because of our commitment to common sense, we will provide a sanctuary of sanity in a world where globalists, establishment people, and the entire leadership of the Democrat Party has gone insane. So you need it. And so do I. Believe me. Well, it's Thursday. I look at my Cordaro Jewelers watch. It tells me it's 10:11. And that tells me it's time for the weekend warrior. He's back. Bigger and better than ever. Our man, Sid Hallinan. How are you, Sid?
Good, Bobby. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. How'd we do last week?
Good. We're 3-2 last week, Bob, so we're getting there.
All
we're
right.
Still under 500, but we're getting there. So hopefully this week is another good week. I got my good luck charm with me this morning, John McHale. You know John? You know Alan McHale?
Tell him happy
fan.
Veterans Day.
Yes, I will. He's a big Green Bay Packer fan, hoping that they get back on track after Monday night.
Yeah,
so
well, they looked pretty mediocre, didn't they?
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, Hal and I share a birthday. I love him.
Okay,
I love him.
Good.
And
Good,
he was the
man.
truant officer when my kids were in high school. So
yeah, he was the truant officer there, and he did a fine job all those years that he was there. He really did.
Love it. All right, well, Sid, let's get right to the chase. What do you got on college? What interests you?
College, Bob, I got one game really that interests me. College football hasn't really interested me that much this year, but I'm going to go with an upset, and not big upset, but I'm going to take Oklahoma getting 6 at home against Alabama. Their playoff lives are at stake here. Bama's been playing well, but I'm going to take Oklahoma at home plus the 6.
All right. And so then we go right to the pros, just one game. And
well,
I agree with you, Sid. This college thing with everything going on with the money and the transfer portal, it just doesn't interest me.
It's going to be the same way, maybe worse next year. Especially it's the big teams with the money that are going to be always at the top. I think, anyways.
Yeah. But then you have teams. The one thing that's interesting, you have teams like Indiana and Vanderbilt doing well without all of that. Or seemingly without all of that.
Seemingly. They don't have the big money like the Texas and the Michigan and the Ohio State that are spending millions. Notre Dame does well. And Penn State did Penn State spent a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
So they're 3-6, and you've seen how that's shaping up. So if they don't win this week against Michigan State just got put on probation. You talk about defections. How many players are they going to lose after the year?
Yeah, that's right. That's the other part. You don't do well, or it doesn't look good. The future doesn't look good. You're going to have an exodus.
Yeah, you'll have one. And the rich get richer, buddy. You know how that works, right?
Yeah, man.
I mean, that's what happens in this game now.
All right. Well, Sid, talk to me now. Let's go to the pros.
Sunday's rare, Bob. Very seldom you are going to get 4 games like there's going to go on Sunday here. These are 4 great matchups. The first one is at 1:00. Tampa Bay is at Buffalo. Buffalo needs a win. Starting to see some cracks up in Buffalo. I'm going to take Tampa Bay minus the 5.5 over the Bills.
Although they disappointed you last week, Tampa Bay, right?
Yeah, they did, but we're going to go with them again with Baker Mayfield, and we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But the next game, the other ones are at the end of the day. Huge game with Seattle and the LA Rams. Everybody loves the Rams, so you know where Sid's going. I'm taking Seattle minus the 3.5.
All righty.
Not everybody's right all the time, Bob. You know.
Well,
but I love Seattle minus the 3.5. Another great game Sunday afternoon. Kansas City is a favorite at Denver. I'm going to take Kansas City minus the 3.5. Denver's a fake 8-2, Bob. They're doing it with smoke and mirrors. I just think Kansas City is a lot better, and I'm looking for Kansas City and Mahomes to shine on Sunday, beating Denver. They should cover that outright. And then Sunday night, Philly and Detroit. With the A.J. Brown controversy again the last couple of days, and some of the things he's saying is right, but, you know, we could save that.
What is that? I don't follow this stuff.
Well, he doesn't like the way the offense is being run at the time. And what he's saying isn't totally wrong. I mean, it's good for right now. They're winning. They don't look that good. What his point he's trying to make is how are we going to look in December and January? This isn't the formula right now of getting back to the Super Bowl. So he makes a pretty good point there.
And new offensive coordinator, I guess.
Yeah, but Kevin Patullo, the new offensive coordinator, we all scratch our heads, especially Monday night with that call on 4th and 6 when they went for it.
What was that?
Well,
I'm watching the game. I'm going, are you kidding me?
Yeah, everybody was saying that. If Green Bay had won that game, and I'm the owner of the Philadelphia Eagles, Sirianni's taking an Uber home from Green Bay. He's not getting on the plane. So we can look at it that way.
Yeah.
You know, they won a Super Bowl last year.
Sid,
but
they didn't go for
saying, Bob, what have you done for me lately?
But Sid, they didn't go for 6 yards. They went for 30 yards. I didn't get it at all.
They went for 30. Yeah. And A.J. looked like he didn't put too much effort into trying to catch that. So.
He was trying to draw an interference call.
Well, probably, but A.J. Brown is a beast, and I hope they start using him a little bit more. But we'll see. You know I'm not betting against Philly, especially at home. Okay. I'm going to go with the Eagles minus the 2.5 against the Lions. The Lions are a different team outside. Okay. And if we had time, I could give you some numbers. Detroit is a different team outside of
we got a moment or two.
Well, you know, you look at their wide receivers and Goff's percentage of passing. He's usually up around 7%. You get him in an outdoor stadium, he's in the 50s.
Really?
Okay? Their receivers don't seem as fast outside, if that makes any kind of sense, where it's going to be cold, the air's a little heavy.
And grass.
They just seem different. Plus, you know, last week they beat up on the Commanders, who the Commanders are down. They don't have much this year. They're not going nowhere. But I'll never go against Philadelphia, not in Philly. And it's under a field goal. I'll take the Eagles minus the 2.5.
Does our man Hal approve of these picks?
Well, I don't know. Well, I'll have to consult with him later on that. You know, he's just told. I was going to take the Giants with the points against Green Bay on Sunday, and no, I think Green Bay has just too much talent.
They'll bounce back.
They're not going to get beat by the Giants. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
We were talking with Chet Parlavecchia on Monday, and I said, after losing that game Sunday, no matter what, they got to get rid of Daboll, and I love Daboll, but they did it. Yeah.
Okay, Hal is against me on everything but the Eagles.
Okay.
He loves the Rams. I really like the Rams a lot too, but something's telling me Seattle in the back of my head. You know.
Well, Sid, you go where man fears to tread.
Has gone before. If I had taken the Giants, you guys would probably get rid of me. So now I'm being silly. So enough. Even my wife looked at me when I said that last night. I'm thinking about the Giants, and she just walked away. So,
Sid Allen and the Weekend Warrior. The picks are in. We're ready,
all
baby.
right, Bob and John. John gives you his best wishes, and away we go.
All right, man. Have a good week, brother.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Take care, Bobby.
My old St. Anthony's Hawk basketball coach, Sid Hallinan. We'll take a break and be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Murph says this date, 1968, Tommy Rowe released his hit Dizzy. And before that, Spiro Agnew, man, he did this speech in Des Moines, Iowa, this date, 1969. And he called out fake news. And you almost could predict from that moment they were going to get him. And they did. I'm not saying he didn't do anything wrong. I have no idea. But they got him. Because the following September, 9 months later, he referred to the media as the nattering nabobs of negativism. Well, he wasn't long for this political world after that, and he resigned a couple of years later. And Nixon used to call Spiro his insurance policy because he knew they'd never impeach him to get Spiro as president. And then he inadvertently made a huge mistake. He wanted to pick Nelson Rockefeller to be his VP, and he wasn't going to get that through the Congress, a Democrat Congress at the time. So he picked Gerald R. Ford, and that made his impeachment and removal, he resigned, of course, more palatable to many, many people because he picked a very popular vice president, at least popular on Capitol Hill. Spiro Agnew. Yeah, he was right then, just as Trump is correct as right now. Hey, Navy guy, back to the Eagles. He says every time the Eagles run the tush push, half the offensive line jumps off sides. Officials need to start calling it. Well, Navy guy, I don't know if you know if this stat came out. They're down to 75 or 76% success rate with the tush push. So teams are reacting to it, and they're preventing the Eagles from moving forward. Hey, our man Gary D. sent me this on email. A global tuberculosis diagnosis. Huge rise. 8.3 million people across the globe reported as newly diagnosed with tuberculosis in 2024. Fascinating. Could it have to do with mass migration? Of course. And they won't tell you this. They won't admit it. It's really crazy in a lot of ways. You say to yourself, are they a World Health Organization, or are they just another political organization promoting globalism? Well, that's what the WHO is. And it's sad because there is a place for a World Health Organization, but not this one. Start all over. Ignore them. Forget about them. Done. Not interested. Oh, something else. So I was thinking of yesterday about this slimy governor of California, Gavin Newsom. And I don't usually adopt Trump's names. I come up with my own, but he really nailed this one. He's scummy. And this clown, they just got caught licensing. The number is staggering. 17,000 illegals got truckers' licenses in the state of California. And they're literally on the roads killing people by the dozens. He's down at the climate summit. Remember the climate summit we told you about? Where they clear-cut miles and miles of what was supposed to be their beloved forest down in Brazil, so that these clowns who just flew in on their private jets could have a highway to get to the conference. You cannot make up what lying phonies these people are. And they invited Gavin Newsom basically as the president in waiting for the United States. Now, here's the problem. For all of these hucksters who have turned global warming and now climate change, the rebranded version, into a thing that we've diverted trillions of dollars and impoverished billions of people for. We found out and can prove it's a scam. The whole package is a scam. Yet there's Newscomb down there preaching how the United States has lost its way because we proved it's a scam. But just a little bit of focused attention on their lies and their fantasies. That of the global elite and the global warming faction of the global elite. It's insane. But they're clear-cutting pristine forests, and they're flying in private jets to speak about by the thousands, by the way, to the point where they had to construct a 4-lane highway to this conference through the pristine forest that they claim to love. These are the phoniest people on the planet. Wow. We'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We'll be back. If you check outside the Bloomsburg American Legion, you'll see an inscribed stone that says, "What is a veteran?" And I'll add to it just a little. It says, "A veteran, whether active duty, discharged, retired, or reserve, peacetime or wartime, is someone who at one point in his or her life wrote a blank check made payable to the United States of America and its people for an amount of up to and including his or her life." That is honor. And our Veterans Tribute this hour and every hour, this day and every day, brought to you by John Basiliga. And as we head to the weekend, we think Basiliga Hospitality. Great bar restaurants. But if you want fine dining with a modern touch, a Terra 519 downtown Scranton. It doesn't get any more beautiful. It doesn't get any better than that. The Stegmeyer Mansion, Wilkes-Barre, downtown Wilkes-Barre, South Franklin Street. Think of going to Newport, touring the mansions, and being able to have a fine dinner and amazing cocktails right in those mansions. That's the Stegmeyer Mansion. And Sergei's, the nightclub. It'll be open tonight. It'll be packed all weekend. Even for old fuddy-duds like me, it is a blast, I promise you. Benito Benny Tranguch. We lost him October 31st. He was from Hazel Township. Born in Hazleton, his family says Benny lived a full life, making the most of each day. He was the life of the party, always the performer, with his wife Nancy as the straight man. His mantra was, "I'll sleep when I'm dead." His enthusiasm for everything in life was contagious. The highlight of his life was when he drove a race car at Pocono Raceway. Green Bay Packers fan, of course, Vince Lombardi. He used to go to Lambeau Field. We talked to our man Chester Parlavecchio about that. He served on the financial committee and as an usher at Our Lady of Grace Church for many years. Active in Unico, president of that organization, the Outstanding Italian American of the Year in 2013. Married to his true love and best friend Nancy for 62 years before he lost her. Nancy always had his heart. It was love at first sight for him. Benny was a graduate of Hazel Township High School in Hazleton and proudly served in the United States Army, coming from a family of proud veterans. He worked at Tranguch Tire Service, Hazleton, and later turned the business of T&F Tire in Kingston into a success now run by his son, Thomas. In addition to his parents, tragically, Benny was preceded by his wife, Nancy, in death, as well as his son, Michael, and many other family members. He's survived by his children, however, his grandchildren, and many other family members. Benny Tranguch, our veteran this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality. Storm Tracker 16 forecast from meteorologist Joe Snedeker. Today, cloudy with a chance of flurries and sprinkles, 47 degrees. Tonight, partly cloudy, 34. Friday, partly sunny, 47. Saturday, partly sunny with a chance of late day showers, 50. Sunday, more clouds than sun with rain and snow showers by evening, 48 degrees. Bob Cordaro back with you on the eponymous program. Yeah, so a big, somebody brings up definitely scummy is new scum. Is he all over the Epstein files like Trump is? Now, here's the newest. And they just keep, this is sad. Now, Trump, he ain't running for saint. I don't think anybody that supports him thinks he is. I happen to think that since he's been endorsed by some of the greatest clergy in this country, he has found religion. Not in the way that they have, but in his own way and in his own fashion. Just like I think he's found love for the American people because of the love he's received. But let's analyze this, okay? And I'll do it again and again for those of you who want to smear Trump. These are the facts. There was some allegation by Trump that Epstein was poaching his employees. And he kicked them out of Mar-a-Lago. This is before the first arrest, by the way. So they didn't get along after that fact. It's proven. It's documented. Now, for those of you who say, well, what? Please tell me that the Biden administration, and then under Kamala Harris and during her campaign, please tell me why, number one, weren't the so-called Epstein files released? Please tell me why. Because they loved Trump? They wanted to protect Trump? They could have released him selectively if he was part of this cabal. So you're being stupid. And I don't, again, it's this Trump derangement syndrome, this Democrat orthodox, I don't get it. And here's the thing. Now, Trump had made his own mistake. If you guys remember, maybe it was even in the first month of this year, first month of his second term, Pam Bondi, they handed out folders to all these conservative influencers, binders rather. And they said it was stage one of the Epstein document release. I think they thought there was something there that turned out not to be, and Trump realized the juice ain't worth the squeeze. He's not releasing it because there's something on him. And these leaked emails are from a guy named Michael Wolff from Epstein. Epstein was mad he was kicked out of Mar-a-Lago at the time. And Wolff has been a devoted Trump hater. He wrote books about Trump. And so now they're saying Trump won't release it. The House Oversight Committee has everything. Trump sued, his administration sued to release the grand jury transcripts, which they were Democrat judges, but I have no problem with them not releasing it because it's just too much raw material that can hurt people that weren't involved with this clown. The problem is there's less there than Trump promised. And he realized he was going to look bad when nothing came out. But now, hey, the Oversight Committee has the right to do what they want to do. I prefer they release more rather than less. But to try Trump to Epstein, it's pure silliness and fantasy. The typical left-wing TDS fantasy. I just go back to the basic question. Are you seriously telling me that the administration that oversaw 5 different indictments of Donald Trump would not have released information in the Epstein files or records that was available to them? Please tell me. So stop being stupid. They love the distraction because they lost another one. They lost another one with the shutdown. And so, but I know you'll keep trying. It'll be something else next. It'll be something else after that. I get it. You're willing to lie. You're willing to make things up. You're willing to diverge from reality because you hate Trump that much. Well, one thing he ain't a pedophile. And I don't know. Yeah, I know. But yeah, the Biden administration would have held back on that, without doubt. It's insane. Just as somebody texted in, Trump's so badly hated. Do we really think the Dems wouldn't have released any Epstein files with him in it the minute they saw them? They controlled the Congress on top of that. Wow. It's unbelievable. And no, Trump ran saying he's going to release the Epstein files. He did. You have to understand that. He didn't even know what they were. And he overpromised. He does that often. You know that. He exaggerated. He does that. And there wasn't any there. Certainly that could be released without harming people that were innocently interacting with this slimeball Epstein. They're going to do it. The House Oversight Committee is going to do it. They're going to release everything they can. They already have released troves of documents. So, mishandled from a public relations standpoint, without a doubt mishandled by Trump. Is he part of this cabal? Clearly not. So stop it. We'll be back. This date, 1976, Murph tells us Rod Stewart, he had the number one hit with Tonight's the Night. And, of course, it is a great Vietnam Veterans Memorial dedicated on the National Mall, Washington, D.C. This date, 1982. I've been to it. It is impressive. And the quietude of the whole area is there's a solemnity that comes over people when they go near that memorial. And it was controversial in design because it was nothing like had been seen before. And I'm not much for new art and whatever. Man, this just turned out to be awesome. And you'll always see someone when you go there with sketch paper and a pencil or a charcoal tracing the letters of someone they love, someone they knew. Amazing. Yeah, the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. And as we're losing these Vietnam veterans day after day after day, it's just it's sad and frightening at the same time. Hey, somebody text in, hey, Bob, for all the Democrats whining about health care premiums, why didn't Biden and the Democrats fix it when they had control of all three branches? Because, thank you, the question's rhetorical. Because they're the ones that screwed it up. And they couldn't admit that Obamacare had failed. Obamacare had failed, and we're going to prop it up for a few years. And now that fix has failed because Obamacare is getting worse and more costly and less efficient. This is what happens with every government program. Why the vitriol? Why the unbending nature of the shutdown on the Democrat side? Because they don't want to admit and they want to cover up the fact that Obamacare has failed. Period. And Congressman Bresnahan, his campaign put out a thing, where are all the 8th Congressional District Democrat opponents now that the government is reopened? They were criticizing Bresnahan for voting to keep the government open. And they say, take Portland Page Cognetti, for example. She spent weeks attacking Bresnahan for opposing the Democrat-led shutdown. But now the Democrats have capitulated and the House voted to open the government, Cognetti is nowhere to be found. She's as phony as any of them. And as incompetent as all of them. All the left-wing lunatics. Period. Sad. Ginny C. texts in, Bob, Trump has been through hell and back with the BS lies. He isn't a pedophile. His children, and especially grandchildren, are nuts about him. What about Biden showering with his daughter? And they call Trump a pedophile. It's a shame what Trump's going through. It's so wrong and it's taken a toll on his looks. Maybe so, Ginny C. The troll on his looks. Somebody said the traveling wall, which is coming next summer up here, is great too. And I've seen that. Yep. Yes, it is. But let's go back to the point. None of these Democrats cared that Joe Biden demonstrated indicia of a pedophile over and over and over and over again, sniffing little kids' hair. The direct accusation from his daughter that he had inappropriately showered with her. Are you kidding me? You didn't care about that. And by the way, if there was any indication Trump was a pedophile, I'd be all over it. I promise you I would. Without hesitation. And speaking of, let's go to our man Wayne from Einan regarding the Epstein files. How are you, friend?
Very good, Robert. How are you doing today?
I'm still and continually confused by the TDS crowd and this the dummy-crats that just don't want to face reality. I don't get it.
Here's the way I feel about the Epstein files, Bob. Okay, they could throw them in the garbage can because we got much more critical situations going on
Without
in
doubt.
this nation, than the Epstein files. You know, like you said, Trump has his grandkids and everything else, and everybody. That part's a joke.
And
But
by the
other
way,
part is
I think he's proven that he loves grown women.
yeah. I do believe that. Yes.
I mean,
He has
he's
proven that,
he's either a rapist or a pedophile. You literally can't be both.
This is true. Yeah.
Oh,
And you're
Lord.
talking about the Vietnam Memorial.
Yeah,
I have a few friends on that, Bobby.
I'm sure.
Yeah, and it's yeah.
Have you been to
I
it?
always go to it when it gets here. You know.
Okay.
It's an interesting comment, but yeah. But as far as the Epstein files, I can't see why we have to spend all this time on the Epstein files. I really don't.
Well, I think Trump bungled it from the beginning because he thought that somewhere deep in the Justice Department, there were things that were damaging against his political opponents. It probably turned out to not be true, and they overpromised and underdelivered. And now he wants to move on because he screwed up. That's what I see.
I believe that, but I don't believe. Thing I really don't see is why should we bother with adding out the Epstein files into politics?
Well, if someone is in power today, or even
Right.
I have no problem going back and revisiting that they were perverts. I'd have no problem with it, and we can walk and chew gum, but there is no there. There's no
I don't
definitive
think the
proof.
Democrats can do that, Bob.
I
Walk
know.
and chew gum.
But there's no definitive proof in these files, as they call them. People are
Correct.
envisioning, and by the way, they're envisioning it because Trump talked about it. They're envisioning a file that has everything in it, and that's not what they have.
Not what they have, right? I
Yep.
agree. Okay, but to benefit our government and for the benefit the people of this nation forward, I don't see what the value of the Epstein files hold.
I'm with you,
I
brother.
really don't.
I'm with you.
Okay.
Thank you, my man.
Thank
We
you,
got
my
to go
friend.
for the news, but always a pleasure,
care.
Wayne. Thank you. Yeah, my Bacardo Jewelers watch tells me it's 11:02. Well, you know what that means? That means we're late for the news with Brian Hughes. So let's go do that, and we'll come back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Great good morning, everyone. My Ricardo's Jewelers watch tells me that it is 11:10 a.m. on the nose. This beautiful Thursday, November 13, 2025. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he. And it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values. And with the help of our man, John Basiliga, and Basiliga Hospitality, to honor the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like the veterans we've lost this year, but celebrate today thanks to John. Like Robert Gratkowski, Scranton, Benito Benny Tranguch, Hazel Township, and Frank Pipiak, Berwick. So with history, our great founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle, gaveling back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you each hour and for every hour we're here that our commitment to common sense will create a sanctuary of sanity for all of you. And I mean, we got the trolls running this crap by me, and it's like, wait, we're committed to common sense. We're unwavering in that point. I don't get it. Somebody with an extreme view on the New York City election. Bob, write it down. Christmas 2026 will not be celebrated in New York City. In government, in socialism, government's bigger than the church and Christianity. They say, the listener says, this text, after 24 years after 9/11, Jews after the Holocaust said never again. After 9/11, never forget. Now we can say never learn. Well, I believe that Mandami is not a Muslim. He's an Islamist. And the Islamists call for the superiority of their religion, the primacy of it, and the elimination of other religions. And I believe he's one of them. I truly do. But remember, they have within that Islamist philosophy the right to lie to advance your goals. And that's what he's done. He needed the left-wing lunatics to win an election in New York City. So he had to pretend he was an LGBTQ guy, which is fundamentally contrary to Islam, to Muslim teaching, even to Muslim teaching. Never mind Islamists. And that is who they're going to use and ally with to do what they have to do to take over pockets of this country, and eventually they believe this country and this culture. That's the Islamist goal. It's up to us to prevent it. And as I always say to you, and it's hard to do, by the way, in this instance, you've got to separate good Muslims, which is the vast majority, from Islamists, which is a small group of very dangerous, hateful people. We'll see. One of the trolls says, Trump's own words on tape said Epstein's like them on the younger side. Okay. So, I saw that clip. But again, you ignore the fact that he's separated from the man, banned him from Mar-a-Lago. You ignore that fact. I don't get it. Why? Why don't you want to know the truth, troll? I don't get it. I really don't. Somebody else says Trump's age preference seemed to be 22 to 29. Biden's age preference seems to be 10 and below. Yeah. Somebody says the only file I want for the Epstein stuff is I want whoever Giselle's clients were that he was getting convicted of getting kids for. By the way, there's books and books. James Patterson wrote a great book about this. It's all discoverable. It's all findable. Somebody says, morning, Bob LTS. Did I miss Monday Musings? He might be grouting the stairs. It gets confused on the text. While listening and can't always hear well, it's not Monday, Rodney. We had Monday musings on Monday. Today's Thursday. You've been grouting. You've been smelling the grout. Somebody says, you put someone on the air that says being with little kids isn't a problem, and you don't call them out on it. That's gross. I am for Trump, but being with little kids isn't a problem. What? You didn't even listen to what the guy said, number one. That's number one. It isn't what Epstein did is not the most important problem in the country. That's what he said. If that's not true, then nothing's true. The hell are you talking about? And I disagreed with him. I said, well, no, we could do that. We could go after Epstein and release information as time goes by, as people get as the information gets vetted. And that Trump screwed up the rollout. Period. That's it. Somebody, Satan is always at work in this world. Man, do we know it. Rodney says, sorry, I'm a day off. Rodney, you're 3 days off. It's Thursday. Oh, Lord. Once again, the hate for Trump forces us to overlook pure evil. The real criminals linked to Epstein will get overlooked in an effort to try and link Trump. Horrible. And by the way, none of these people cared about Biden's predilections. None of them. Zero. They denied his own daughter's diary. So they denied the film. Chris Coons, the biggest Biden supporter of all, I watched the video. As Biden is smelling his daughter's hair and is swearing in, he was beyond uncomfortable. He knew what the clown was doing. But they don't care. See, again, they don't care about truth, fact, and reality. None of these people do. I don't know why. When you're having a discussion with someone, once they deny something incredibly obvious, like Trump is not involved in the pedophilia ring. And I've told you about this before. I am interested in not where this clown, this scumbag, Epstein spent his money. I'm interested in where he got his money. How did he accumulate it and why? Was it from intelligence agencies? Was it from billionaires who he blackmailed, or both? I wonder. Down in the Wilkes-Barre area, and 9:10 a.m. up in the Scranton area, as alternatives. So, but we got a contractual deal, and I get it. This is a business. And you got to live up to your contracts. So if the show gets cut off twice a year, I'll live with it. On that platform. There are still other platforms. And you could also go on your phone or computer to WILKnewsradio.com and press watch or listen and still get the show. Listen part goes to hockey or not. I don't know. So, in any event, guys, we're going to take a break. We've got interesting history since we're talking about Obamacare. Very interesting history of that flawed, failed program. A little music, and then you could reach me at 570-883-0098. Call or text. like I do. You. Love that song, man. Love that song. But I want to play something to follow up on the history moment. Fire it, Bulldog. Yeah, round it out. Peter Frampton, one of the greatest albums of all time. One album wonder, but I am a zero album wonder. This date, 1976, he moved to the top 10 charts at number 10 with this great song, Do You Feel Like We Do? And the failure of the Obamacare start to finish. The cost, staggering. Amazing. Somebody texts in, Bob, you're correct. Where did Epstein's money come from? And I get an LTS, grand job every day. I love that. People don't use the word grand often enough. That's why I don't normally just recite compliments. But I like that. And the listener continues, go Trump and God bless America. Thanks for the truth and sensibility, LTS. And I say LTS back at you. We share that. We share that trait. Well, it's time for more music because guess who's on the blower? You'll know as soon as Bulldog hits it. You ready? Play it, Bulldog. It's Angelo Lutz from Madisonville. Angelo, how are you?
Oh, buongiorno, buongiorno. Come sta, Pairano?
Bueno, bueno.
Okay, molto bene for me. Yeah, I'm stumbling and fumbling here up here in the country. It's a weird day, man. It was sunny, shining, then we got a squall going through. Then it started raining. Then the sun came out again. I don't know what's going on here, but
we're ready for it. We're ready to handle it. And you know what, Angelo? It keeps my bull mastiff. It keeps Chauncey in the house instead of having him run me outside and inside. So that's a good thing.
I got a good system for my dog. I got a beagle that's 30 pounds. He thinks he's a Rottweiler, and I got a lead that goes from the top of the steps all the way down into the driveway. And when when I having a hard time walking, I just let him down. At nighttime, it's really helps to do that. You know what I mean?
Sure.
In the daytime, up here, we got lions, no tigers, but we got bears. You know what I mean? And you wouldn't believe the stuff we got up here. You know.
Hey, did you get to hear your old classmate Sid Hallinan on?
Oh, I heard him.
Yeah, the Weekend Warrior. Yeah.
yeah. He's pretty good, isn't he?
Yep, love it.
Yeah, I agree with everything except the one game, but I'll tell you that some other times. But I wanted to tell you about, there's people when they lose their loved ones, they go through a grief period, and grief is one of the hardest things people could go through. And all of us go through it. But there's a program.
You have, I know that, my friend.
Oh, yeah, like there's a program at the Steamtown Church that's across from Andrew Brown's there. I got a cousin and her husband that run it. It's on the last couple of weeks. They have it, but it's free of charge, and I'm telling you, they do a wonderful job.
Over in Southside on Pittston?
Yeah.
Okay.
Men handle grief differently than women, and men want to be tough, and they don't want to step into a program like that, because I don't know why, but I think they just try to be tougher than they really are. But the best thing to do is to talk to somebody. I know St. Catherine's Church has the grief counseling every Wednesday, but this one down there at Steamtown, my cousin and her husband run it. And I'll tell you what, Joe and Bernie, they do a good job, and it's 6:00 every Tuesday night. But I urge people, they don't have to go to the two I just mentioned, but find out where there's grief counseling, and if you need it, take it. Go and get it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It really helps. I mean, the stronger you love somebody, the stronger the grief is. And it takes a while, my situation. But I'll tell you something right now. There's a lot of stuff out there to help people. And, that Webster Dictionary, it has a definition of grief. That's not even close. That's not even close what people go through. But I just wanted to let your listeners know there's actual help out there. And, it's not for everybody, but it actually is for everybody, but not everybody does it,
Well,
but,
that's important to know. I appreciate it, Angelo.
Yeah. I just wanted to shout out to your listeners and let them know about that. You know what I mean?
Much appreciated.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll let you go because there's one thing I'm good at. Besides eating spaghetti and meatballs, and that's talking. You know what I mean?
All right,
So
thank you, Angelo.
Yeah, LTS. What a great show today.
LTS back at you, brother. We'll take a break. Angelo from Madisonville with an important note today. Important information. We'll take this break and be back. Veterans Tribute, the weather, and you at 570-883-0098. the Bloomsburg American Legion, where our next honoree was a member, has a plaque outside and etched into stone. It says, "What is a veteran?" I'll add a couple words, but it says this: a veteran, whether active duty, discharged, retired, or reserve, peacetime or wartime, is someone who at one point in his or her life wrote a blank check made payable to the United States of America and its people for an amount of up to and including his, her, or her life. That is honor. And this hour's tribute is every hour. This day's tributes, as with every day, brought to you by John Basiliga. And as we head to the weekend, we feature one of his great companies, Basiliga Hospitality. 3 amazing bar restaurants. I think about them all the time. The Old Brook Inn, 307 Springbrook Township, the Far Street Tavern, and the Great Trips Park section of West Scranton, a great reimagined neighborhood bar. And the Queen City Tavern, downtown Oliphant. Check it out. All new. You'll be amazed. Fine dining? Yeah, we got that. Atera 519. The most modern take on high cuisine east or west of Manhattan. Downtown Scranton. Stegmeyer Mansion, South Franklin Street. Go to a bygone era, and guess what? They got great drinks and amazing food. Sergey's Live will be hopping all weekend. The nightclub right beneath the Terra, downtown Scranton. Tonight, Friday, Saturday. And it's good for even fogies like me to dip our toes in now and then. And you want a movie? I was there last Friday night at an event. The Scranton Art House. First run movies and so much more. And probably the best popcorn on the planet. Frank Pipiak, a cherished husband, father, grandfather, great-grandfather, passed away peacefully November 1st, surrounded by his family. He was born in Berwick. His family says Frank's life was a testament to his loving nature, his handy skills, and his friendly demeanor. He went to Berwick High School and then entered the United States Navy, serving from 1962 to 1968. His dedication to his nation was paralleled only by his commitment to family. In 1962, he married the love of his life, Judith Durkee. They celebrated 63 years of marriage together and raised a family of 4 wonderful children, all of whom survive him. Also surviving grandchildren, a stepson, 5 great-grandchildren. After his military service, Frank Pipiak embarked on a career that saw him spending the majority of his life as an over-the-road truck driver. His work ethic and leadership brought him to a well-respected position as foreman at C&D Waterproofing. He was involved with the Garibaldi Society, Maria Assunta, the Bloomsburg American Legion, where that great plaque sits, and the Bloomsburg Elks. His interests were as diverse as his talents: gardening, a meticulous lawn, crafting birdhouses that graced many homes in Berwick. He also had a passion for winemaking and cooking. Frank Pipiak, our great veteran this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality. Storm Tracker 16 forecast from meteorologist Joe Snedeker. Today, cloudy with a chance of flurries and sprinkles, 47 degrees. Tonight, partly cloudy, 34. Friday, partly sunny, 47. Saturday, partly sunny with a chance of late day showers, 50. Sunday, more clouds than sun with rain and snow showers by the evening, 48 degrees. And it is 45 degrees outside the studio as I speak. Bob Cordaro back with you. Somebody says Epstein's money came from all the swamp creatures that really run this country, and that's why we'll never be told the truth. Yeah. Somebody says, thank you, Angelo, as I lost my twin brother last May in a motorcycle accident. It devastated me. Thank you. Yeah, it's hard to recover from this stuff. It is hard. They say, it takes 3 years at least to where you stop thinking about how your loved one died to thinking how they lived. And your reflection on them then brings a smile, maybe a wince after that. But Angelo brought up a good point. Talk to somebody if you have to. If it's consuming you, if it's overwhelming you. Your church is the first place to go. He mentioned another church, the Steamtown Church across from Andrew Brown's there in Southside. Yeah. In any event, it's something. Mark from Hazelton says, the show abruptly ended at 10:25 a.m. yesterday. He said, please send this email to the complaint department. It says, this is like the Heidi game. They had a game. The Heidi Bowl or Heidi game. You're right. I forget, Mark, which they call it. 1968, the American Football League between the Oakland Raiders and the visiting New York Jets. The contest was on November 17th, 1968, and it was notable for its exciting finish in which Oakland scored 2 touchdowns in the final minute to win 43-32. However, NBC, the game's television broadcaster, decided to break away from its coverage on the East Coast to broadcast the television film Heidi, which caused many viewers to miss the Raiders' comeback. Well, yesterday's hockey game interrupting us was not quite at the level of the Heidi Bowl or Heidi games, but I think that's a pretty funny reference. It really is. All right, the government's open. I want to point out it proves 2 things. The closure by the Democrats. Well, it proves 3 things. Let's have 3 main points. Number 1, the Democrat leadership doesn't care about you at all. Not even, you're not even a consideration. That's what socialists, that's what left-wingers do. Please remember that. This is history telling us. We started out the program with that. They don't care about you. They don't care about any individual. They actually don't care about any group except to use them to either obtain or hold on to power. That's what history tells us. And by the way, that's human nature. That's what certain people are like, and they've now coalesced around the Democrat Party. That's number 1. Number 2, government is far too big and too involved in our lives. That's number 2. Very important to note and to recognize. And number 3, Obamacare is a dismal, insanely expensive failure. 3 big points, 3 big takeaways. Please remember all of that. We'll take a break and be back. Well, our man Rick Bigelow tells me it's 2:45 in the morning for Frank Sinatra, and he's on a bar stool in Townsville, Australia, which has a history going back to World War II for sure. And then, of course, our man tells us that it's 12:45, and we know it. Gerard Mayer. We know it. That's what it is. Hey, I told Sid Helen about Angelo, and you got to know the characters. They were 8th grade when I was 1st grade, so they were the big kids. You know, that was Mount Olympus with Angelo and Sid Helen and Burger Gallagher. I mean, I said, what characters? Sid writes back, he said, remember the movie The Outsiders? That was us. I said, however, I went back to Sid, I said, however, you couldn't wear leather jackets because you had to wear the St. Anthony's blazer. And Sid wrote back, the NDSAS tie. I remember those proudly. But Cardos tells me it's 11:50 on the nose. Yeah, Murph tells us Leon Russell, this date, 2016, he died in his sleep at his home in Nashville, Tennessee. He was just 74. Tightrope. That's the song we chose. And we're going to finish with Three Dog Night. I love them. This date, 1971, they released their hit Old Fashioned Love Song in the United States. Someone text in some true words of wisdom, because I look at this as a huge, huge audience. There's always somebody that's part of it that is recovering or suffering from some sort of grief or some sort of issue. And our great listener texts in, grief arrives in waves, unexpectedly and without warning. Learn how to ride that wave so it isn't a tsunami to critical to self-care. Yeah. Wise words. And said, thank you, Angelo, for bringing the subject up. Off topic for him, but important for all of us, just to be aware of. Hey, instead of building up what I say on Friday, on occasion, and at least today, because we've got a moment, I'm going to read what my man Nikki sent me, Nikki D. And it's important. And since we're into the grief and we're thinking about life itself and attitude, which is half of life, I always told people this when they're having tough times. You all remember, and I'm surprisingly, it's a shared experience by so many who went to school years ago. Remember they would bring in the prisms? And I always tell people it's about outlook. It's about how your perspective on things. It helps how you handle and dictates how you handle things. And you'd get that prism and you'd move it just a little bit and you got different colors. So just move that prism just a little bit if you're having a tough time. You'll see there's something to be happy about. And as Three Dogs starts, we'll finish with this admonition. Number one, don't wait to be happy. The perfect moment will never come. Make the most of the one you're in. Number two, health is everything. You'll only realize it when it starts to fade. Cherish and protect it now. Number three, time doesn't come back. Spend it with people who make your soul feel light. Number four, call your parents. One day you'll reach for the phone and wish you could. Number five, say, I love you more. Don't let ego hold back what your heart wants to say. Number six, memories versus money. No one will remember the car you drove, just the laughter you shared. Number seven, let go of the grudges. You're not punishing them. You're only hurting yourself. Number eight, stop waiting. Start that dream. Take that trip. Hug that person. Life doesn't pause. Number nine, people forget words, but they never forget how you made them feel. Number 10, you're never too old to love again, to start over, to change, to grow. Amen. Final mention of our veterans, brought to you by our guy John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality. We lost these three this year, but celebrate them today. Benito Benny Tranguch, Hazel Township. Robert Gratkowski, Scranton. And Frank Pipiak, Berwick. Thank you to them for serving us and being part of our community and making everything just a little bit better. Well, guys, we got this fight to wage tomorrow again. The discussion will continue on WILK because Sue Henry's show is next. Rob O'Donnell's show after that. God willing, I'll be back with you at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning to battle again and hang around with you guys. One of my favorite things in life. But for now, I must say adios, and we must gavel to a close this meeting of the Club for Common Sense. Have a great afternoon.